All right, the House comes back from summer recess 1 week from today, and that means that the investigations into the Biden family, syndicate, or if you're from Fulton County, enterprise, that means it's about to ramp up. House Oversight Committee, they just subpoenaed the Department of Homeland Security over Secret Service documents that could help explain why Hunter Biden was allegedly tipped off about a forthcoming FBI interrogation. Once he got the warning, that interview never happened. And don't forget, we also learned that a Justice Department official met with the IRS whistleblower, Gary Shapley's attorneys, and seemed to be interested in the allegations before immediately turning around and talking to Hunter's attorneys, which resulted in them quickly cutting that sweetheart deal with Hunter. Meanwhile, the White House is reportedly developing a war room to deal with the fallout from these investigations, which could ultimately result with an impeachment inquiry and then into an impeachment. We reached out to the DHS for comment on Comer's subpoena, and on background, an official told us that they're working on Comer's request and have never obstructed or withheld a response. Okay, here now with a preview of what can be expected next week and beyond. House Judiciary Committee Chairman Jim Jordan, House Oversight Committee Chair James Comer. Can you explain why this DOJ official, James Comer, met with the attorney for Gary Shapley before he testified before Congress in light of the letter that Mr. Shapley said he had information to give Congress, which is oversight, which is your committee, which is, of course, other committees as well. Can you explain the purpose of that, and then turning around immediately thereafter and going right to Hunter Biden's attorneys? That would seem like they tipped him off to me.
Absolutely. That's what it looks like, and that's what happened. And we have instance after instance throughout this whole investigation to where we've uncovered more information about where the IRS investigation into Hunter Biden, which, as we've heard from the IRS whistleblowers, was leading directly to Joe Biden, was obstructed. And I can tell you from my experience over the past 9 months leading this investigation of Biden's all the influence peddling schemes, that we've been obstructed at every turn, not only by the Biden attorneys, but also by the Department of Justice, by Homeland Security now. We've been obstructed by the media. We've been obstructed by Democrats on the House Oversight Committee, the FBI, and the list goes on and on. But we're still able to produce evidence, new evidence every week that no one knew beforehand. And I believe all this evidence that we've gathered, we're finally starting to piece it together and put together a timeline. And what we're finding is very concerning about the current President of the United States.
Let me get to you, Jim Jordan. Can you explain that, and this gets to the heart of your investigation in the Judiciary Committee, and that is whether or not the FBI and DOJ are politicized and whether they're weaponized. That sounds an awful lot like, to me, the DOJ is weaponized and they're using the FBI and now even Secret Service?
Yeah, the same U.S. attorney who tipped off the Secret Service, the same U.S. attorney's office who talked to Gary Shapley's lawyer, is the same U.S. attorney's office who designed the sweetheart deal that was declined by the judge. That's the same guy that Merrick Garland made the special counsel. So, of course, the fix is in. The White House is getting all ready because they know what's likely to happen later this month. The Speaker's been clear about this. If we need to go to an impeachment inquiry phase of our oversight work, we will do that. They're getting ready, but we're going to come at this from all angles. Mr. Comer today subpoenaed documents and individuals from DHS and the Secret Service. Chairman Smith has subpoenaed individuals from the IRS who were part of the investigation into Hunter Biden. We have subpoenaed individuals from the FBI who were part of the investigation. We want them in for depositions. So we're coming at this from three sides to get the facts for the country so we know whether we need to go to impeachment inquiry. But it is looking like more and more every day we need to go to that phase of our oversight work.
Where do you see this going, Jim Jordan? I mean, the obstruction has been in plain sight. The 1023 form, well, we now know why they didn't want to hand that over. Earlier before that, it was the suspicious activity reports. Now it's, now we can't get the 5,400 emails under pseudonyms because the National Archives and Record Association, NARA is not handing over the information. Is anybody going to cooperate with what is the rightful role of Congress called oversight of government?
Well, this is where the impeachment inquiry phase of an investigation, I think, becomes important. And Speaker McCarthy has talked about this. Once you actually pass a resolution that says we're in that phase of oversight work, our constitutional duty, then the courts have been much more willing when you have to go to court to get the information that Mr. Comer talked about. We're trying to get the courts have been much more willing to say, hey, this is a constitutional duty of the House of Representatives. If, in fact, they're doing impeachment, you need to provide those documents and those individuals for the depositions that they ask for. So that's why that is significant. And again, I think the evidence is pointing us clearly in that direction. We'll get back. We'll discuss it as a conference and see if we have that resolution vote and we move forward as the Speaker has indicated.
Do you believe that that resolution vote will pass, James Comer?
I do. And I think that I've been in conversation with a lot of the moderate members who obviously, for various reasons, have been concerned about this. But the evidence is overwhelming. And the fact that the White House announced today they're creating a war room as opposed to cooperating with our investigation. If Joe Biden's completely innocent, if he's running the most transparent administration in history, like he said, if he's been completely honest with the American people about his knowledge and involvement in his family's shady business schemes, then why won't they just comply with our request? We haven't requested anything that I think anyone would say is out of the ordinary. This is a credible investigation. Everything that we have made public is new information that no one knew before. We've caught Joe Biden in countless lies about his knowledge and involvement in his family's shady business schemes. And this, I think, Sean, even members of the moderate wing of our party are realizing this could potentially be the biggest political scandal in my adult lifetime. We have a president who has evidence that his family's taken over $20 million from foreign nationals. We have sworn testimony and emails that show that the president was doing favors in exchange for this money his family's receiving. This is very serious. We need to get all the facts. We've been producing evidence. We're at some roadblocks now with this administration. This impeachment inquiry will help us get all the evidence so the American people can know once and for all exactly what Joe Biden did and when he did it.
The Joe Biden lies, the sheer amount of money countries like China, Russia, Kazakhstan, Ukraine, Romania, Mexico, and many more, Jim Jordan, the money going to a family with no experience at all. Joe having dinners with some of these business partners. According to Devin Archer, over 20 phone calls that he's aware of with the business partners that he said he never spoke to his son about or his brother about or anybody for that matter. Wow.
Right.
Why isn't every single newscast leading with this story in the country?
You know, you would think they would, but we know how the left-wing legacy media operates. But I do think more and more of them are beginning to pick it up, some of the mainstream press. But we know you guys have got the truth. You guys are giving the truth to the American people, and God bless you for doing it.
All right. Well, thank you guys for what you're doing. Jim Jordan, James Comer. We appreciate it. We'll keep on the story. Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.